Mantra 4. Good morning, peace. Focusing on peace and being peaceful is another powerful way to connect to the source. Instead of being naturally attuned with peace and happiness, unhappiness and conflict have become our habit. When man experiences unhappiness, instead of looking for a way to find permanent peace, he tends to complain more and further shroud his happy natural state. This is why, when you are happy, you must place peace on top priority. Immediately defocus from unhappiness and attract the solution by becoming happy. Unhappiness does not become a habit overnight. It has been imposed on us from childhood. Toddlers learn by observing their surroundings, and as they grow, children form the habit of being unhappy by internalizing the preconceived notions and reaction patterns of people around them. As a result of this, even when everything is going well in a household, people invite unhappiness by triggering a quarrel amongst one another. Then they sit down to resolve the problem they created in the first place. After finding some temporary solution, they rejoice together. This gives them a shallow shadow of true happiness. Thus, man first creates his suffering and then finds a quick solution to it. This tendency invites suffering without reason. So what should you do when you become unhappy? The answer is simple. Put peace first. Placing peace first means developing a habit of placing serenity and happiness before all else. The moment you become unhappy, remind yourself to come back to happiness. If your level of consciousness falters after an incident, remind yourself to raise your level of consciousness. You become aware of what is happening to your level of happiness after you witness an incident, or after you interact with someone, or after someone praises you or criticizes you, or someone behaves in a particular way towards you, or when someone gives you a piece of his mind. In all this, if you lose awareness and your level of consciousness drops, you have not put peace first. If your level of consciousness rises and you still feel joyful, then you have to put peace first. Let us see how we let go of peace. Once you see how we allow our level of consciousness to be stolen by others or by incidents, you will become more sensitive to putting peace first. Sheila is a working woman who employs a maid to help her with housework. One day, the maid enters Sheila's house in a foul mood. The maid works disconcertingly in the house, banging and dropping dishes as she washes them. With each sound, Sheila's level of consciousness drops. Without realizing it, for the next few hours, Sheila remains disturbed because her maid did not work properly, and Sheila frets the whole day. There is one more thing about the maid that upsets Sheila. For the past few days, things have been disappearing from the house, and Sheila is suspicious that it is because of the maid. She is even more distressed because she does not have any evidence. But instead of worrying over whether the maid might steal her watch, ring, or soap from the bathroom, Sheila should be more concerned about letting her level of consciousness be stolen. She should have taken greater care of her level of consciousness, rather than any of those objects. There are many incidents that seem to be caused by others, where we let our level of consciousness be lowered, where we let go of peace. For hours after such incidents, our level of consciousness remains low. You can no doubt remember such incidents from your past. At that time, had you known that your consciousness was being stolen, you would have been more careful. At that time, had you told yourself, I am letting my unshaken flame of peace be shrouded by clouds of irritation, you would not have let go of peace. But without such understanding, anyone is able to rob you of your level of consciousness. If you had been conscious of your consciousness, had your attention on your consciousness, no one could have stolen it from you, and your peace would have been intact. Let us look at one more example. One day, Mr. Lobo reached his 8 to 5 job at 9 a.m. and it was required him to write down his time of arrival in the attendance register. As Mr. Lobo walked in, he saw a colleague enter the time and walk away. Mr. Lobo noticed that his colleague, who was an hour late, entered the time at 8 a.m. in the attendance register. Mr. Lobo deliberated for a moment, and he too entered 8 a.m. in the register. Now, Mr. Lobo did not know that the consciousness level of the man before him was low. That his understanding behind such an act was according to a low level of consciousness. And so for him, to enter the wrong time was all right. Mr. Lobo was unaware that his level of consciousness was his treasure, was something he should never avert his eyes from, something he should secure, take care of, and always maintain. Your level of consciousness is stolen when you watch other people's wrong activities and then follow their example. You let your peace go, thinking it's all right upon seeing others doing it. Not only that, but a person whose level of consciousness is low tends to lower it further through his actions. He deceives, commits fraud, hides facts, and talks dishonestly. His reasoning being that by telling a small lie, he will get money out of it without much sweat. For example, if someone inquires, "Why didn't you complete your work?" he would lie, "Oh, I had some unexpected guests." After telling this insignificant lie, he easily escapes from responsibility. Such people reason it by saying, "By lying we get to work less. Otherwise, we will have to work more." This habit of deceit is on the rise because man has enjoyed the taste of telling such lies. On the other hand, a man with a higher level of consciousness has tasted bliss and peace that he cannot afford to let go of. Consequently, his level of consciousness goes on rising, his peace is maintained, and all the work is done from that higher level. Attachment to the body and the idea of mine are two reasons why people let go of peace. Having seen examples of how we let go of peace, let us see how to regain our peace and make it our first priority. The simplest way to access peace is by saying, "Good morning, peace." Good morning, peace is the technique of accessing the unshaken flame of peace. Utter this mantra with your mind and heart every time you think of war, feel enmity towards anyone or anything, see violence or abuse, or when any negativity tries to find refuge in the peaceful premises of your mind. Close your eyes and say, "Good morning, peace," to yourself, and your thoughts will disappear. If some other thought occurs, greet it with the mantra of "Good morning, peace," and these thoughts will disappear, leading you into a thoughtless state. You may also say, "God morning, peace," instead of "Good morning, peace." When you say "Good morning, peace," the words inspire you to feel peace and to help that peace take effect. Here is an example of how you can put this mantra to use. Suppose you are leading a heated meeting at your workplace. How can you get everyone to operate from peace? There are two ways it can be done. First, you can allow everyone to get tired from talking and sharing their ideas and thoughts. When they are tired, let them take a few moments and then speak. the exhaustion will eventually impel them to take refuge in peace. This is the way the human mind subconsciously performs. It gives in when stretched to its limits. Surrendering to the situation will let peace take over. The second best way would be to connect to peace directly. Get everyone to close their eyes and say, "Good morning, peace." Then be in silence for a few moments and announce, "Now allow peace to operate." Look at the problem being solved and see how peace brings the solution. Then let anyone in the conference say what they want, allowing peace to express through them. See the solution unfolding. Learn to see problems being solved by accessing peace. When you say "Good morning, peace," you pass the order for peace. This will guarantee inner peace and powerfully propel you to create the future you want.